What stands out to you about Cincinnati's offense on tape so far?
They're good at every level. They got a tremendous quarterback who can run and throw, which is going to really be a big challenge for us. Their offensive line is very strong. They do a good job of moving and blocking and moving people, which you don't see a lot in college football nowadays. And they got wide receivers who can run. They got some bigger guys who can win some 50-50. So we want to be ready on all three levels, ready to go. It's a huge challenge, and not just that. Coach Satterfield is a really good play caller. Somebody I always admired as a play caller, and so it's going to be a challenge for all of us, coaches and players.
DK, how much did you guys emphasize physicality, hitting, tackling, obviously, but the first two mostly physicality during that bye week, and how pleased were you with how it looked on Saturday?
We've always emphasized that, playing fast, physical for each other. That hasn't changed since day one, since I got here. So it just kind of showed itself a little more, and that's how it should be. As you continue to work on it, you should get better at it, and that's what we did. Really proud of our guys, how they did, how they played fast, physical, and for each other. And we just doubled down on what we believed on in the bye week, and just got better on it and looked to improve. We got a ways to go in all three of those categories, and so hopefully we continue to grow this week.
You mentioned you admire Satterfield as a play caller. What about him did you look up to or like?
And I've known of him for a lot of years. Him and Coach Campbell were really good friends. They worked together at Toledo. And so I just always admire that, he's kind of off script. He's really creative. He knows how to get the ball to his playmakers. And, and that's the signs of a great coach. And plus those guys play very, very hard, and they can run the ball, they can pass. They kind of do things on their own terms, and that's what good offenses do.
You guys did a good job of limiting Bo Prabula at Missouri with his legs. What did you guys do there, and what do you feel like can translate against a guy like Sorsby?
Kind of different offenses, so you're going to have to do some different things there to help out, and it's going to be everybody. Defensive line got to make sure they're rushing the proper way. Linebackers got to have good eyes when they're playing zone coverage. Everybody got to see the quarterback and be ready to go. But it's a total team effort to try to stop a guy like that, just like it was trying to stop a guy like Bo.
Go ahead, Gerber.
What was it like? It looked like Dean Miller kind of came back to some form there. What was it like seeing him?
It's always exciting to see Dean. Most importantly, I'm just proud of the way he's been working, and now he got to pay off in that game. And hopefully, we're going to see the best of Dean Miller from here on out. But when you're coming back from injury, sometimes it's just hard to get back. He missed a lot of reps in fall camp, and just kind of set him back. And now he's kind of getting back. And we got a lot of depth, which is great. And Leroy really stepped in great and continued to play well for us. And on the other side there, we got Fink and we got Alex Bray, playing at a high level too. So we're really happy with our depth and guys able to step in and do things, as well as Dak Brinkley, who was a little banged up, and now he's back ready to go this week. So I'm excited about those five guys.
This week in particular, how do you feel about where you guys are at safety, where some guys have been banged up and Devin Dye's going to miss the first half?
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Just with Devin Dye not being able to be there. But once again, it's going to touch your depth, and guys got to step in and be ready to play. Doesn't matter. Cincinnati don't care. They're going to go out there and try to do what they do. So we got to make sure our guys are ready to go, which they will be. Coach Shelby's doing a great job with that back end, along with Coach Burkett and JKP. So those guys are ready to go. I'm excited to see them step up to the challenge.
Hey, with John, he's all over the place right now. He's playing fast, and I mean, is that just a guy being more comfortable than he has been? You kind of talked about that in camp, but are you seeing that on game days now too?
Yeah, you're just you're happy anytime kids start to grow, and that's what it should be. We're a developmental program, and he's just one of the guys who's starting to develop. He's getting comfortable in the defense, comfortable in his role in the defense. When people are comfortable, they play a lot faster, and when it's simple for them, they're playing fast. So I'm just really happy for him. Coach Simpson's doing a hell of a job, with that group, and he's really coming along and giving us somebody to help out Bengali. There also. So once again, just kind of speaks to the depth and the coaching and development those guys are getting here. And it's a credit to John, because he's in here constantly growing as a person, and is showing up on the field too. That's exciting.
What did you see from Jalen Dye in his action on Saturday?
Jalen Dye?
Yeah.
Did a good job. You talking about Devin or?
No, because Jalen comes in after that and ends up forcing a fumble and.
Oh, well, he came in and played well. Came in and did, just what we expected of him. He's another guy who's been working really hard, but, he had to pay off for playing, and now he had to pay off for playing time. And so just excited, and his role is going to increase this week. And so really excited to see what he's doing out there. But I'm really proud of just him working, his attitude. Nowadays when kids are working hard but not getting the reward of playing, they pout. they complain, they whine, no different than some adults. But, he just kept working, kept his head down, and he eventually got his payoff, on Saturday. And like I said, it's going to get increased this Saturday.
Say Gibbs' versatility, how's that helped you guys out with him, getting back healthy and getting in?
Yeah, it's always great to have another cover guy out there, especially in the Big 12. Just to have a guy who can cover, and that's what he helps us with. He's a good blitzer, he's a strong tackler, and so his versatility is really helping us out a lot on the back end. And then now that we're getting healthy, our depth is starting to show there at the cornerback position, nickel, whatever you want to call it.
How about the interior up front? Nice seeing Blake and Marcus get some action. Hear their name called.
Yeah, Blake's been doing good all year. He's really been just a part of that group. And Marcus is somebody who's growing. You talk about John being a young guy. I think Marcus is kind of next on that list as a young guy who's growing, doing a good job. The good thing about him, he has such great leadership in his room. So all he has to do is get in the flow of the leadership and keep going. But he's worked hard. He's got stronger. We really challenged him over the summer that he has to get stronger. And man, he really took that and really went and worked hard. So just proud of the kid on what he's done and how he's added another guy to that group that can come in and rotate.
Obviously, you mentioned the dual ability Swordsby has. Does that change up anything at practice? Are you guys doing anything different for a dual quarterback?
The great thing is that we got some athletic quarterbacks. So that really helps us out. David has done a really good job for us, as a scout team. But it's really just him being who he is. He's an athletic guy. So that's really fun. And most of our quarterbacks can run around and kind of do what he does now. He can sling that ball at such a high level that that's going to be tough to really duplicate in practice. But it's good to have a guy who can move around and try to get the D lineman and keep him in the pocket, linebackers keep him in the pocket. So that's been a good part of practice to try to get a guy who can emulate what he does.
You worked with Cincinnati's DC for many years. How would you describe him as a coach and what he can do now leading his own defense?
You're kind of seeing, I think they're playing a great defense. I had a chance to really watch them, honestly. But I imagine they're playing great defense. They're playing hard. He was an excellent linebacker coach for us at Iowa State. Had some guys in the NFL. Had a whole bunch of all-conference guys, defensive player of the year. So he's a tremendous coach. But more importantly, Tyson's a tremendous person. And he's a great friend of mine. We speak often, not this week, but we speak often, and I'm just really proud and happy for him and his family that he got this opportunity to really showcase, his skills of being a leader as a defensive coordinator. So I can't wait to see him on Saturday and give him a big hug and go from there.
It's been a couple of years since you guys have played Cincinnati, but what did you see maybe in the progress of that program between now and then?
They've got physicality. They're really gaining. They're a physical team. Well, I watched that Nebraska game. I think we were in the hotel for one of our games watching them. I thought I was impressed. Both sides of the ball. They look like a mature team. Play really hard, physical, both sides of the ball. So I thought that program is growing. They're really good, really good team.
It's maybe not clear if he's going to play, but what do you see from Corleone, the defensive tackle, who's supposed to be one of the best around?
He's good. Strong, physical. Hard to move, he's a tough player. So yeah, we'll find out I guess come game day. But he's really, he's physical. He's what you want, physical and strong and tough, and hard to block.
I guess broadly speaking, how do you feel about where you guys are at in the run game at this point?
Good. We showed signs of improvement. I think it was good. Obviously still room to improve, both throwing and running, obviously, but I feel like we've made some good progress. Leishon was terrific to see a big run. That was a big thing to see, is a big explosive run. And he blocked well, they made some people miss, and that's what we needed, because Jalen had a couple obviously too. It's gonna help, him running helps our run game, obviously, it spreads it out. So I'm very happy with where it's going, the progress it's making.
When Jalen's just a little bit off like he was on Saturday, where he's a little high, a little low, missing things, what kind of conversation do you have with him? What's that process
like? Great question, because I was talking to Coach Travis, coach that company ET, who's on there, who I talked to on the phone, and I'm like, hey, just tell him to chill out, take a deep breath, it's okay. And we still got the ball. I got back to rule of zero. We didn't lose the ball, we still got it with us. It's okay, and a lot of times it's his feet. Sometimes he just rushes, and I think guys will sometimes rush. Maybe due to excitement or other things, but they'll rush it. So he's rushing and his feet get a little sloppy and the balls were just kind of all over that. Even the short little screens are kind of high and low, and like, so you just gotta keep, it's like a baseball pitcher. So you might not have your great stuff, but you have enough stuff to keep us in the game. I thought he did a good job with that. So he kind of, me being a baseball guy, kind of reverted back to that going, sometimes, for whatever reason, like, it was funny watching him miss that. We were just laughing about yesterday, the second, one of the escape throws he made, that he always made. I think he overthrew Canty. Like, and he came out the field like this, like he couldn't believe it actually happened. And I'm like, I felt the same way. So that's like so automatic for him. It's a great escape to his left. I think it was 39 or something. He escaped, great mechanics, everything good. And I'm like, this is gonna be huge because Canty was gonna catch it and roll. And I'll say, I'm like, it's like one of those moments like, did that just happen? Then he just got, when I saw him do this, I'm like, that's okay. I said, no, he'll get back. Like, hey, hang in there, man. He'll get back. Then I got better. And I don't know if maybe the hit helped him. I don't know. But it got done. But Joe, the guy after that threw the ball really well. But I think you just got to keep on hanging in there. So I was just kind of like, just hang it, just pop, refocus and refocus a lot.
How happy are you with what he is giving with his legs?
Oh, I'm very happy, especially in a game like that. You know what's interesting about West Virginia was they showed a lot of, like you talked about before, they showed a lot of pressure looks, and they didn't pressure us a ton, but then they dropped everybody. They kept playing some really multiple coverage of the back end, but then they didn't really take care of him. So you kind of like, if you're dropping 7 or 8 people trying to cover everybody, well then the quarterback becomes your check. I always tell the guy, you become a check down. It's like when you play 2-man teams. You know, that's good tough coverage in the third and long, but then no one's got you. So I thought that helped open up the game. Kind of got us alive and kick, especially 2 back-to-back. Couple of those quarterback drives and escapes were huge. It kind of got them having to do some different things. Then we got some tempo modes, got rolling. So it's huge. I think it was a huge part of that game.
Given his injury history, and it hasn't been terrible, but it's been there. Does he have the green light to go whenever?
Yep.
Or do you guys talk about that?
No. Well, you know, it's crazy. And I've told my son this too. I told, dude, I know you need a slide, but I see kids take worse hits sliding.
Yeah.
I don't mean that like wrong. Like, don't you like it? I feel so bad. Like, and he slid.
Right.
And then he gets lit up. You know, and then there's a penalty. I get that target, but like we last I tell him he's got to get down. The thing about slide is like obviously if you can dive. Because the crazy thing about sliding right now is the refs are trying to be so cautious, which is good, that they think that kids start sliding, they're going to mark the ball. They're going to start marking, which is really an interesting part too. So, we talk about it. We say get down. We always take beat 1, split 2. And then last, like, you got to tell him to get down too. I'm like, I do, but I'm like, I tell him to get down, and he gets. But we do. But he does have the green light.
Yeah.
You know, because I had some situations before back in the day with the Northern, with the kid named Chandler Harnish, and same thing had happened before I got there. It's like you start telling kids to be cautious to run, they actually run cautious. If that makes sense to you. So they kind of like, you just got to throw caution in the wind and say, hey, you're doing a great job with Coach Sleeve and you're rolling, just go play with you. Make great decisions, but just believe and trust yourself and go. Thankfully, it's been good so far. I hope we keep it going.
When you say beat 1, split 2, you're saying
Depends
make
on
a miss.
make guy miss, got 2, split them. If the 2 guys are coming, split them, beat 1. So he kind of he saw it. The good thing what he did, and then when you're in jail, he kind of got jailed there a little bit, I call it. Like you have nowhere to go. So that was a really good decision. Sometimes he would have done back in the day, would have done maybe not a great situation and gone. That time he's like, hey, I saw myself kind of, I call it a bad way to say it, but you're kind of jailed. You can't go anywhere. It was a really good decision. I just felt bad that he got lit up.
What have you seen from Enrique so far as he's kind of grown to this season?
I think weekly improvement. I thought he played. Daryl, Coach Paul said it too. Thought he played really well this last game. I think what Daryl said it too. It's one of our models offensively. He said he feels like that kid's playing free and fast. He's just playing free. He gets all clicked in offensively, new offense, new scheme, and it just all started to make sense to him. He's just playing. So we just talked about that too out there. So he's playing really well. So I think it's playing free and knowing what's going on.
DK mentioned David's coming.
I'm talking on myself.
DK mentioned that David's playing kind of scout team quarterback. What have you seen from him so far this year in his development?
Confidence level going up with what we're doing offensively. Strong arm. Sometimes early on, he'll kind of mechanically kind of drop some things a little bit. Now he's starting to get back on top of stuff and throwing. I think it's work team. I call it scout team, work team. Really helps you get so many reps down there and you're kind of free. You're just letting it rip and get back into that rhythm. And then Lance does a great job of having some situation where he gets some young guy Skelly going or young guy situations going. He's done awesome. But the improvement in his confidence level, strength with sleep, and then just is watching the ball come out of his hands and not thinking so much. So I was excited, really excited, because he's a big, long kid that can run too.
It's another 3-down team this week. How would you kind of compare and contrast what you saw from West Virginia and their front versus
They're
what
more,
Cincinnati does?
Cincinnati is more, and you gotta appreciate it's more Iowa State-like and K-State-like in terms of more, well, I shouldn't say you never know what's gonna happen come Saturday, more consistently a 3-down team, mix in a little bit, they can mix in a 4-down, but that's more where West Virginia is very multiple. They go 3, they go 4, they go under, they go all these different fronts. They're more, not that they can't do it, they're more of the, when you guys see Iowa State a couple years ago, more of that 3, with some type of 3 high safety structure, but they can always change and do some different things. So that's what I see from them. Maybe the ends are a little wider, like 5 technique instead of 4 eye type situations, maybe a little wider than some of the, but you'll see more of a, I say normal, more of that type of front with some multiple blitz pressure packages also.
You've had a few games this year where Jalen hasn't had to finish it out. You've been able to go to Cole and Isaiah. Just how do you evaluate when to make that move?
Lance and I talk, and really the great thing about Coach Quarterback is the head coach usually tells you when. Like he does, he's like, hey, or I'll mention, and he'll say yay or nay. So like the same thing happened. We talked before. Maybe it was Fresno or Wagner. It was Wagner. When we didn't score at the end of the half, and we scored at the start of the third quarter. Kind of the same thing at the end of the third quarter. Was it sort of the end? When it was up 34, it could have went 41 right there, and they didn't hit the 4th and 1. Luckily, we got the ball back, I think, quickly, and then we put Cole in, but maybe one more, I can't remember. But, no, LeSean scored after that. But it's like, again, a few more minutes of giving other kids a chance. I never get frustrated with our guys not getting. I feel bad for the other guys, more opportunities. So that's been good to get those guys. But usually it's I'll make a suggestion, the coach will make the yes or no. And that's he's always really good about it.
Jalen, get any input in that when he is ready to come out?
I don't know. Lance never told me. Maybe I think Lance might talk to him on the side real quick and say, "You good?" No, but usually Lance will say something like after that, like, "Hey, if this happens, hey, we're gonna put Cole. Let's go with Cole and Isaiah." Or in situations, something like, "Hey, we're gonna go back," and that's fine. They're always ready. The great thing about those two, well, all the guys, especially Cole and Isaiah, they're good to go whenever. So it's not really like a shock, and especially nowadays, helmets popping off and so on, they're all ready to go all the time.
We heard plenty about Daniel and the shape he's in going into the year, both just mentally and physically. How have you seen him deal with having a setback where he's got, can't finish a game because of an injury?
Yeah, well, the good thing is you see the maturity level. I feel like the maturity level of him handling it with a great attitude or a positive, like, hey, that's where I see the growth in him. I think I tell you guys that at the start of the season, the growth, the maturity level of just being able to handle those kind of moments. I'm really impressed right now. He's had great spirits. He's smiling at practice and just, really good. Trying. Obviously, it's hard because it's like when Jalen got through it a couple of times. It's hard when it keeps happening. It's like, or whatever happens, or when you get a couple of plays here and there. So I think his spirits are really good. So that's where I think I've seen his growth the most.
And with those other running backs behind LeSean, Johnny and Harry, what did you see from them, and how pleased are you with their own development?
It's really bad to say. I'm gonna say this, but I don't even know when they went in. Honestly, like not a bad way, because Jayhawks, we trust them all. So he just rolled in, and LeSean took a break, and I had to go out to him. I didn't even know that Johnny ran or student. And that's not being mean. I'm like, that's a good compliment. I'm like, he's not gonna change how I call things or how we call things. So how we practice helps those guys. It really hasn't. Like I told you with Cole and Isaiah quarterback, sometimes when guys have been dinged up a little bit, it's bad, but it helps in practice. Gets those guys a lot of reps in practice. And the way we practice, especially during fall camp, the 2 all stuff, gets those guys so many reps. I feel like they're really prepared when it's their time. So I felt like I didn't even notice if that's. I don't mean that wrongly either way, but that's a compliment to those guys going, hey, they lined up right, they were going, and so on and so forth, and let's go.
You've seen a variety of talent and different fronts and stuff like that with your teams you played. When you look at your offensive line as a whole, how pleased are you with what they're doing in terms of dictating contact versus absorbing it, and what do you want to see?
I think it was good to see them more. It felt like we were more physical. I hate to say that word all the time. We got downhill a little bit more against West Virginia as the game got going a little bit. I thought that was a good thing. So that's where I hope that growth continues. I think that's where I talk about Enrique kind of shined a little bit. Kind of felt like he got more of that going down, like Daryl always talked about, displacing the line of scrimmage. We had a little more of that. Still need, obviously, Daryl's going to want more all the time, and we all do, and that's obviously because that's who we want to be, a physical football team, and be able to displace the line of scrimmage. So I think that's where we need to keep that. We need to just keep building off of that. So I think it's a good. I think it was good to see the improvement, and as the game progressed too. I told people this. I said, the game we didn't run the ball great early, but I think continually doing it kind of wore them out a little bit. And then Jalen started running around. They come that third quarter. I was most pleased that we actually won. We finally won the middle 8 really well. Like it was a great job defensively, and we scored at the end of the half. Kickoff return, defense stops them. We're weak on score, and it's good. It's like a 17-point swing or something like that, which is awesome. So I thought we wore them out a little bit.
Was there any? Oh, go ahead.
How are you determining how much and in what capacity to use Cam while he's banged up?
A lot of times it's Cam. How he feels. And like talking with T-Sam, kind of keeping updates on that, like it did again. How's he feeling? How's he doing? So we try to and let him roll as long as he can until he can. Sometimes T-Sam does a really good job of letting me know where he's at. He might need a blow here, or hey, might need a little rest, or guys tighten it up a little bit, or whatever. So I think that's through T-Sam a lot. We kind of get that feel of like, hey, can he go? How much can he go? Luckily, we had with Canty back helped out too, having a little more depth. And that's good to have, like, even what's great is Tate Nagy is playing punt returner, and when he's that's a pretty hard position. So having confidence in him too, be able to play receiver if needed too, which is awesome.
When you guys started getting more downhill, was there any sort of adjustment to play calling that went along with that, or was it more just, hey, guys are starting to displace?
If we shouldn't do it well, it got better.
Yeah, sure.
No, what I think would help a little bit, sometimes at least in that game, was a little bit of the multiple formation stuff we were doing. Kind of make them think a little bit, maybe, and make them have to readjust to the different formation and kind of come downhill at them a little bit. Does that help? I think sometimes get so many different pitches that I probably need to do a better job trying to clear the pitcher up for them when the ball snapped, if that makes sense. When teams are doing a bunch of stuff, sometimes us doing a bunch of stuff, some of those collaborations of what's going to happen. The both sides are doing something, and maybe sometimes clearing it up a little bit for them and kind of, not static for lack of better words, but kind of a more simplistic scheme to kind of calm down what they're doing. I think that helped.
You mentioned Emmanuel's kick return. Are you watching those kick returns super closely? Are you studying your call sheet, trying to figure out what you're going to call after that return's over, and you're just waiting to hear what yard you're starting at? Or
no, I always think we're at the 25. I do nowadays. Like I just think we're at the 25, and then adjust off what I see. Once it kind of it never, unless it's like because something busts long, it's probably not going to change what I was thinking. Unless there's a shot call, a really shot call, or if you get stuck inside the 10, sometimes it's going to change. If it's past the 10 or so, it kind of gives you, it is what it is. Kind of very rarely will I change what I was thinking, but then it's always good to see him go 100. That's okay too. But yeah, it really doesn't. I get more. You change a little bit if you get blocked back. If you get the tough one is the shorter return that a penalty kicks you inside the 10. That kind of changes your thought, but at least changes a little bit what he might be calling.
So what was your reaction as you watched him running back there?
Well, let's go. Glad he's on our side. Glad he plays wide receiver. And no, it was really. We all know he's so fast. It's so good to see that. It's again, it's like when I forgot game. It was Kenny Logan who ever took one back at Oklahoma State. Or someone took one a year. Was it Oklahoma State? Iowa State or what? Yeah. Those are game-changing moments. Coach Tyrell and the special teams was outstanding. Like it was fun to watch. That takes momentum out so quickly. And I think that's what's so fun. And I think people on the other side see a kid like that run and go like, ooh, you can see him be fast for a long time. So that's good.
Jim, 40-yard dash, Jason Bean or Emmanuel Henderson?
Who went up 40? That's a great call. Jason's going to kill me. I had to take Emmanuel. I think Emmanuel will start faster. Jason may catch him late or get close to him late. But yeah, Jason took a little bit to get going. But once he got going, Jason will hate me for that too. Yeah, Emmanuel in the 40, Jason might catch him, might be close to 100.
What have you seen from Sorsby on tape?
Dual threat quarterback. I respect his game a lot. Definitely, just got to account for him in our defensive scheme.
Yeah, how difficult is it to play dual threat quarterback? I know you guys played Pagula a couple weeks ago.
Well, as a D-line, we really focus on just containing the pocket and keeping them, making them step up just so our linebackers come out of coverage and, do their thing. So playing a dual threat quarterback, just keeping him in the pocket, making sure he's not breaking out and scrambling for extra yardage.
Have you seen the growth of the defensive end group as a whole kind of to this point?
I think it's been great. And, with each passing game, we're only getting better and better. And then having the film to capitalize off that as well in the week, the sky's the limit, to be honest. So I think, we've all been doing well, progressing well, and it's just been great for us, the end group.
Justin, we've seen you move across the front, playing different spots. What's that been like for you?
It's been great. I always think of myself as a chess piece, as a Swiss Army knife, just being able to be moved around in different positions and having the athleticism for that. Doing whatever I can to just help the defense win, help the team win. It's been great, and it's fun playing 3-tech and then having to drop out in coverage and cover a back or a tight end, and then also rushing off the edge. So it's been good.
I want to ask about that. Did you do much of playing kind of inside the tackles when you were at Texas?
Yes. So we would also. It's kind of our defense here and defense at Texas was mildly similar.
And so when Coach McDonald was recruiting you, was that something they talked to you about? Was, hey, we see you in kind of this dual role, and how they go back explaining it? Because it's not like there was tape from Kansas last year that they could use to explain to you.
Well, I think they just kind of drew it up for me and just told me that, they had clips of me doing the same thing at Texas and then comparing it to some draw-ups they had and ideas they had for me here. And it went together well. In my brain, it wasn't that hard because a lot of the stuff I already did at Texas. So here it just copy and paste, to be honest.
Just what do you think when you leave out, Alex comes in? What have you seen from Alex?
Man, straight dog, workhorse. Every time, you never have to count on him not running to the ball in practice or not running to the ball in the game. He's that extra high motor guy and very detailed in his work. So I think, not only are we leaving Kansas in a great hands, I know those guys behind us are gonna elevate it even more.
Being at Texas, you've been there, you've seen other good facilities throughout the country. What do you think of the new facilities here and everything, how that stacks up?
It's been great. All the amenities are here for you to get better, not only as an athlete, but as a student off the field as well, with our tutoring and our academic advisors as well. And just like this morning, I came in early and used the walkthrough room. So that's also been a blessing to have, just to have the whole defense up on the screen, even have the 3D models up on the screen just to see and walk through your fits, walk through your coverage. All of that's been great. So.
What's it like? You mentioned yourself as a chess piece, but when you do so much different on defense, what's it like for you guys as a whole kind of defensive front unit collectively when you guys are all doing different stuff?
I think it's good. I think it's good also confusing the offense and also having different players with different types of intangibles at different positions. I think, you unlock different types of, play, if that makes sense. Moving me into 3-tech, you have more speed in the 3-tech rather than just straight line power or just being stout in the gap, just cut the ball off. So I think it's been cool just having those different intangibles in different spots around the field.
Do you guys have a sense for when the offensive line of their team is getting confused or having...
Say it one more time?
Do you guys sense, you or Alex or anyone that's out there, feel when the offensive line isn't necessarily picking everything up, they're starting to get confused? Do you guys have a sense for that?
Yeah, so we're able to, a lot of the time, so we rotate back and forth. We'll come back on the sideline, pick up the iPad and say, hey, I see that he's doing this, or, hey, this alignment's getting tired, or we think he's the rat. Just communicating different things that we see when we come off the field and then being able to apply and work off of it when we rotate back in. So, yeah.
Just this weekend, is the quarterback from Cincinnati, is he the biggest run threat that you guys have faced?
Not really sure. We've faced a lot of dual threat quarterbacks so far, but I think we're going to prepare for him the same like we prepared for the other dual threat quarterbacks that we played.
Being able to make a statement against West Virginia, do you feel that momentum coming into this Cincinnati game?
Yes, because like I said, with each passing game, we're only getting better, and having the film to look at the mistakes and the MEs that we made in the game, and being able to capitalize and take it to the field in practice during the week. We're only just getting and expounding on, you know, what we've already done in the game. So I think we have a lot of momentum going into Cincinnati.
How do you feel like the run game kind of progressed throughout the game against West Virginia?
Yeah, we kind of talked about it throughout the week as the run games. We call it a softening process. You know, like at the beginning of games, you're not going to just bust runs all over the place, right? But we have to establish line of scrimmage by being physical, and I think we did that fairly well. In the first half, didn't get any crazy runs in the first half, but did enough to where they still had to. We had still to keep them honest about the run and the pass. And then, as you saw towards the end of the game, we were able to start getting a few like 10-yard runs, 12-yard runs, and then busted a 60-yard run. So, you know, it's just kind of a process getting into that.
How would you evaluate the way you've played so far this season?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been bad at all. I wouldn't say it's up to the par that I expected myself to play at right now. I had a meeting with Coach DA, I think, on Sunday. We kind of just talked about that, kind of like where he kind of expects me to be right now, and how I need to kind of do some things a little bit better from what I had been, and kind of just trusting myself, keeping that confidence in myself throughout the last for these next couple of weeks. And I mean, luckily we're only like a third or a quarter of the way into the season, so I had that talk, and then I've strung together my 2 best practice days of the year so far this year. So super excited for what I'm going to do this weekend.
Did you call that meeting, or was that?
Yeah, I called that meeting. Yeah.
Was that something you've done before in your college career, wanting to talk with an assistant like that during the season, or was this?
No, it was just kind of like I did a lot of like self-evaluation when I was watching my film and grading it and looking at things. It was like such like little stuff that I was doing wrong that ended up being like something big, something little as finishing a block with my body in a specific place, right? And then in practice, I wasn't doing that, and it showed up in a game, right? And so I had that kind of self-evaluation, and now I'm like, okay, now I know the way I need to practice, and I kind of did a practice like that yesterday, where I was like, okay, I feel good, I felt confident. Like walking off the field yesterday and even today, I'm like, I feel good, I feel confident going into the next day of practice and for this weekend. So I think that's been the biggest change for me right now.
Did Coach give you anything that you feel like you didn't notice on film when you did that self-evaluation?
I mean, it's going through the whole grading process for like each game, right? I mean, he sees the same things I'm seeing, and I kind of talked to him. He didn't even know I was coming to talk to him, but I told him, I was like, listen, like I need to like, what do you think? This is what I think. What do you think? And he was like, yeah, I agree. I mean, your worst critic's gonna be yourself, and so yeah.
Was there anything that he told you you're actually doing better than you thought you were?
Honestly, I told him, I was like, I don't really want to like hear any of that. Like, I want to hear what I want to get better at, right? If he doesn't tell me I'm doing something wrong, then I'm doing it right. I'm doing my job. Yeah.
Maybe you touched on it a little bit, but what was it about these last 2 practices that made them so good for you?
I think for me, it's been like the details. You know, we talk all the time about like big on the little details of how we finish blocks, how we finish plays, and anything along those lines. And I think that's been like the biggest thing for me, whether it be something like a snap placement where the ball is getting to the quarterback and not, unfortunately, being on the ground like it was this past weekend. Doing stuff like that and getting my hand back and taking like a wide zone more vertical rather than getting washed on the line of scrimmage, or just like moving my feet or getting my body in the right spot to be in between the defender and the runner.
I know the play literally does start with you because you're the center, but do you feel like these improvements can help set the tone, maybe better for an offensive line this fall?
No, yeah, for sure. Like as a whole for our offensive line, I think we played okay, not up to par to what we played at last year. But you know, it's a new group. We're gelling. I think we kind of gelled quite a bit this past weekend, so I'm excited for what we can do this weekend.
What have you seen from Cincinnati's defensive line?
Yeah, they're big guys. They're physical. Well, their whole box is physical, and they're vet players, so they know how to play. They played a lot of football. I know their nose guards really, really good. So I'm super excited. I know he was out with an injury for the past couple of weeks, but I'm super excited for the challenge I see ahead of us.
I was just going to say, cornerbacks, if they're going up against a top wide receiver, you know, they'll talk about being excited for that matchup. As an offensive lineman, do you ever look at the guy across from you on film and you're like, this is a guy I'm looking forward to facing?
I mean, yeah, it's a challenge. Something I always go by is my opponent's faceless. So, like I said, it doesn't matter who we play. We could play the worst team in the FCS, D3, whatever you want to call it, or the best team in D1, or we even play a team in the NFL, right? I'm still going to attack my practices the same way and attack them the way I should. And I haven't been up to par with that in the first couple of weeks. And this week, I think I've taken a big step forward and just changing my mindset of, the way I attack practice. But yeah, just kind of go off your question. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know he's a big guy. I know he's a big challenge. He's a little shorter, so I know I'm gonna have to work my pad level this week. It's gonna be a big thing for me.
You mean Corleone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you think is the next step for you guys offensively, just as a whole unit?
As a whole unit, I think it's going to be a big thing to be establishing the run. Making guys have to worry about, when they put 7 in the box, we can still run the ball. I think that's something we need to take pride in, and I don't think we do that quite yet. But I think this past weekend was a big feel good for us, where we put 260 yards on the ground, and so it's a pretty good game running the ball. And so I think that's something that we kind of take pride in, so we can open up things for the receivers, for JD, and then,
Obviously, you were a little bit banged up. How many of these little habits and things were things that, hey, I'm coming back, maybe I'm not 100% healthy. This is kind of the way that I do it right now while I'm getting up to full health.
Yeah, I can't really use any excuses or anything like that. I mean, I'm playing at that point. I can't use anything. Whatever happens, and what's on the field, on film, right? I mean, I have goals and aspirations to be the best possible player I can be, so I can't use those kind of excuses. But, just kind of getting back is in the source of trusting that left leg again. I got a little bit banged up in the Missouri game on that whenever I tripped and fell, unfortunately. But I got a little banged up there, and it kind of been a little tedious. Just kind of got to fix it a little bit into the bye week, and started kind of getting on the right track for West Virginia. And right now, I'm feeling really, really good, super, super good.
Obviously, Kobe was with you last year. How have you seen him grow? Because he's a guy, Pro Football Focus grades being whatever, but they say that he's one of the best guards in the Big 12 this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's a good physical player. He's someone who wants to punish you for doing anything, for getting to our quarterback, getting to the running back. He's the guy that's I'm not going to let you touch my guys like that. So as an O-line, we kind of, whenever we do our grading, we have our assignment, technique, finish, effort, whatever you want to call it. But we also have another column called MTP, which is make the play. And if your guy makes the play, you want to have the least possible marks in that area as you can. And I think his is probably on one of the lower spectrums of all of ours.
As an offensive lineman, did you kind of like it when he and Tabake kind of got after the guy who hit Jalen?
No, yeah, for sure. It was kind of unfortunate because I was 30 yards behind the play. They ran a stunt, and I had to end up following my guy to make sure he didn't make the play. And I was so far behind Jalen that whenever I saw it happen, I tried to run up there, but by the time I got up there, it was kind of all over, so I didn't get to do too much either. But we take pride in protecting our guys. Like I said, that make the play chart is something that we take pride in, and something we don't want guys to be able to mark off against us.
How hard is that? Your job is literally to keep him from getting hit behind you, obviously. How hard is that to watch? It wasn't your fault or your line's fault, but how hard is it to watch somebody unload on him like that?
Yeah, it's not fun. I mean, I can tell you that. It's something that we take as probably a whole team,
right,
where we get a little bit extra mad.
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's a cheap shot, right? He was going down. It'd be different if it was a legal shot, but that was a cheap shot while he was sliding, so that just escalates it more. And then we kind of talked as a team, and we were we would have taken that penalty over and over and over and over and over again. Wish we had 3 more, But it is what it is. You gotta, once that happens, it's over. You gotta move on from it.
He got it pretty quick.
He did. Yeah. I think after the whole thing kind of boiled over, everyone kind of went, "Wait, okay, we have to make sure he's healthy.
Right.
Make sure he's good to go."
Does he tell you guys immediately, "Hey, I'm good"?
Yeah. He said he was good, but I'm that's what everyone says. So I just wanted to make sure he was all right.
What was your point of view on the Leishon run?
I was blocking you guys, so I didn't really see too much. No, I was blocking my guy. They ran a blitz from the field, and so the O-line, we kind of knew how we picked it up. They'd been running it the entire game, so we knew exactly how we were going to pick it up based off of some things we made on the sideline, some adjustments, and I think that's what really helped us get a hat on a hat, and then it was just let Leishon do his thing. I didn't really know what happened because in the play, it's all kind of just bleh. I kind of black out during games. I don't really remember too much from kickoff to whenever the time runs out. But I remember looking on social media after, and I was like, "Oh my god, okay, that was kind of cool. That was kind of fun to see a running back do that."
About your hit on Saturday, what was that play like for you?
You know, it was great. You know, I always dreamed of doing hits like that. You know, I got my chance to do it.
Do you feel like now that you've gotten one, you might have more in the chamber to come soon?
Oh, definitely. You know, that's always been part of my game. You know, being a bruiser to the game.
Does it hurt when you hit someone like that?
Nah, it don't. You know, you got a lot of adrenaline going on anyway, so you don't never really feel it.
In general, like, how effective was the defense at setting the tone in that way with the physicality you guys brought out on Saturday?
You know, being the defense, you know, we always got that mentality that we want the game on our shoulders. So like we go attack the field every drive, you know, knowing that we here to make a stop.
What have you seen from the QB on tape?
Yeah.
From Cincy's QB on tape?
You know, good quarterback. He can pretty do much everything. So you know, we got to be good with keeping him in the pocket and you know covering receivers.
What's the mentality been like in the safety room with some guys kind of banged up, and then of course Devin's going to miss the first half on Saturday? Just how prepared are the other guys to step up, I guess?
We didn't never take it too much serious because we always know it's like the next man up. You know, everybody got confidence in the role that they play on the team, so like we didn't stress about it too much.
With Sorsby being kind of the dual threat guy, how much does that change any of what you do? What are you kind of looking for when you're facing a guy who can run?
You know, we just trust that our D-line gonna keep him in the pocket and we hold the receivers.
What else stands out about Cincinnati outside of Sorsby?
You know, I feel like they're an overall good team. They got good O-linemen, they got good receiving threats, and they got good running backs. So I feel like we're gonna have to play a full game this game.
When Devin got ejected, was there any conversation on the sideline of what maybe the other guys need to do during that game against West Virginia at that moment?
No, because like me and Devin even rotate between each other, like, or he's like my two, or he's like just the rotating guy for everybody. So like when he got ejected, I knew I just had to go back in the game. So no too much stress about it.
Like as soon as I got here in the spring, like more like in January, I think, just being around these guys and talking to guys and just you kind of sense like we all want to win at the end of the day. Like we want to win. We all have obviously individual goals, but we know team success brings individual success. So I think that's something that we all have in common, like a shared mindset, and it shows up on Saturdays.
What was your perspective on Emmanuel's kickoff return?
He had the first one, and I was like, I saw it. I was like, because I used to return kicks back in Albany. Not a lot of people know that. I was like, yeah, bro, like, I thought you had it. He's like, nah, next one. I was like, I don't think they're going to kick it to you again, bro. He's like, no. He's not kicking it through the end zone. I'm going to get the next one. As soon as I saw him catch, I was like, he's gone. It's over with. Yeah.
A third of the way into the regular season, how do you feel about how you've played so far?
I feel good. I mean, I'm doing my job. We're winning games. I mean, can't complain at all. I'm having a great time, having a lot of fun, so.
What stands out about Cincinnati to you?
They fly around, man. They're a well-coached team, disciplined, all that. I mean, on tape, they show some things that hopefully we can take advantage of. But you know, they're a well-coached team. They fly around. It's going to be a fun game.
They have that rover spot in the secondary. Just how do you prepare for that?
It's nothing we haven't seen before. I mean, our defense does a great job of giving us all types of looks that help us prepare for whatever a defense throws at us. So we're gonna prepare accordingly and just go to work.
I think it was Coach Samuel who said he called you the bouncer. How do you feel like you've lived up to that nickname thus far?
I think I'm a physical guy. I hope that whenever a DB lines up across from me, they're a little nervous about if I'm gonna put my hands on them. So I mean, I do take a lot of pride in that, in my physicality, and especially in the run game, just trying to create some spring blocks for guys to get some extra yardage. So I mean, yeah, I've kind of owned it. You know, makes me laugh every time I hear the nonsense. But yeah, I've tried to own it to the best of my ability.
Yeah, from the last few games, is there a block or a play that sticks out that really makes your pride, swell?
Not really. I mean, nothing like not any particular play, but just anytime I feel like a lot of times receivers, whenever they hear a run call, it's kind of like here we go. But to me, it's okay. Like I'm gonna go put my hands on somebody. So I just get excited anytime I get the block.
Sorry if you already answered this, but on that touchdown you had against West Virginia, just what did you see there? I mean, you were like high school wide open.
Yeah, the play that we had ran many times in practice, I knew the spot I had to get to. Never in practice was I that open after the catch, but I turned around, didn't see anybody. I knew it was time to get on my horse and get going. So, yeah.